So I had every intention of posting this project last week. That didn't happen. I didn't post anything last week because this project kind of went off the rails on me, but I am not one to give up. So I decided to try to redeem myself with a pants project this week. Last week, I actually got an early start on filming. I was very proud of myself, and I didn't realize that things had gone wrong until I started looking over my footage, which was very overexposed. Everything was just really white and bright, and it was gonna take a lot of editing, and yeah, I don't think I'm really even skilled enough to make that footage work. On top of that, I was making a pair of white shorts. They were totally see-through. They're not suitable for wearing out in public. By the middle of the week, I was like, this isn't gonna work. This is not gonna work. And because I started working on those pants last week, I actually had a little extra time this week to do another bonus project. I did a fun little thrift flip out of some pillowcases that I think it turned out really friggin' cute. I'm very excited about it. I'm actually very happy with how both projects turned out. So maybe it was a good thing that I took a break last week. Anyhow, I'm gonna let Thursday me, the bummed out Thursday version of me, take over from here. I took my shorts pattern that I drafted several weeks back, I'll put a link to that video here, and I mashed it together with my skirt sloper pattern to basically get a darted shorts pattern instead of an elastic waist pattern. I also raised the rise about 2 inches so that there'll be extra high rise pants, and then I created a waistband just by cutting off the top of the pants and forming that into a waistband. And I created a pocket for the pants. It's a little bit different than the inseam pocket. I just did kind of a slash pocket on the side of the front of the pants. You know, I started thinking this morning I was really stressing myself out, and I was kind of bumming myself out a lot about trying to get this video posted, and I thought, you're your own boss. Like, you can do whatever you want. So I just decided to kind of take the pressure off a little bit today and do something that I really want to do today. I'm going to make these pants. Hopefully they're going to turn out a little bit better than the shorts that I made, which the shorts turned out cute. They're just totally see-through. So I'm probably not going to be wearing them in public, but they were a great wearable muslin. I learned a lot of things making those shorts. So I'm trying to kind of take that sort of mindset, like, okay, I learned something new, I learned something that's going to be helpful, and it's going to get me eventually to the place I want to be with this pants pattern. So anyhow, I'm going to get started on that now. Once I had the front legs sewn together and the darts sewn in, I attached the pockets. I created like a little diagonal pocket opening at the top corner of the front leg, and so I attached the pocket interior to that, right sides together, pressed it out, and then edge stitched the seam allowance to the pocket side of the seam allowance. Then I attached the pocket facing to the pocket interior, sewed around the edge, and then here you can see how that looks when it's sewn on. So there's that pocket facing. There is the pocket interior where I did the edge stitching along the pocket opening. And then over here, I have just flipped it to the wrong side of the pants leg and pressed it down. So now there's the facing and there is the pocket opening. I'll also just baste along here to keep that in place. I'll do the same thing for the other side, and then I will start assembling the rest of the pants. Okay, it's the next day. I've got wet hair, just got out of the shower. So our aunt is coming to town today, and she will be here in a couple of hours, and I really would like to get these pants finished before she gets here. And actually I need to get them done in the next hour because I kind of want to run around and do some last minute cleaning. Anyhow, I've got the front and the back finished. I've got the pockets attached to the front, and I also attached some patch pockets to the back, and now I'm just attaching the front to the back. And I'm just gonna sew these together along the side seams. Then I will do the same thing, sew them along the inseam, and then I just need to work on the waistband. So I'm gonna get started on that now. For the waistband, I just cut a strip of interfacing for the interior side of the waistband, and I had to cut the interior out of a different fabric just because I was running low on fabric. So I'm gonna lay the interfacing adhesive side up, so the side's a little bit rougher, and then I'll just put my waistband on top and press that to adhere it. Now that I have the waistband interior interfaced, I've got that now lying right side up. And I'm just gonna lay the exterior part of the waistband right side down so the right sides are facing. I also had to piece together the waistband again because I was running out of fabric in my linen. I'm just gonna lay that on top, and I will pin that in place, and I will just do a 3/8 inch seam allowance all the way around to attach the top of the waistbands together. Then I'm going to press a fold in the interfaced side of the waistband, so the side that's going to be on the interior. I'm going to press a 3/8 inch fold toward the wrong side. That's just going to help me later when I attach the waistband on the interior. Now that I've got the waistband prepped, I can attach it to the pants. One thing that I didn't mean to do, was I sewed all the way up the back, the center back of the back legs. I'm just going to release that seam allowance about, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches, so that I can install the invisible zipper later. But first I'm going to install the waistband by attaching it right sides together on the exterior of the pants. So the exterior side of the waistband to the exterior of the pants, right sides together all the way around. When I get to the end, I want to make sure that I open up the fold of the center back so that that's nice and flat. This is a little long. I'll go back in and trim this once I get it sewn on. And I'm going to sew with the 3/8 inch seam allowance. Then I will press that seam allowance toward the waistband and install the invisible zipper. I'm not going to go into great detail on installing an invisible zipper right now, just because there are so many resources on YouTube about how to do that. And I feel like I've done that in another video at some point. But basically I want to install the zipper starting at the top of the waistband. So I'll start the zipper, where the two waistband pieces meet. This would be the top of the waistband here, this seam. So I'm just going to install the zipper up to, starting at that point, down to the bottom of that 6 inch opening that I created in the back, the center back. Y'all, this may be my best invisible zipper ever. Look how close I got. I mean, come on. That's pretty darn good right there. That is pretty darn good. Now, I do have a little bit of stitching here that I need to do. I'm just going to do this by hand. I'll do a little ladder stitch to close up this little hole right here, just because I think it's going to be too tight to get it under the machine. But yeah, that looks pretty darn good. And then I will fold the waistband over the zipper, right sides together, stitch the end closed, and then flip it right side out so that the top of the zipper will be concealed in the waistband. And then once I've done that, I can top stitch the waistband in place, making sure that the fold that I pressed in the interior of the waistband is covering the seam where the waistband meets the top of the pants. And I think once I do all that, the pants will be done. Oh, I also have to add some extra links to the bottom, but I'll get to that in a minute. Alrighty, so I did not finish the pants before my aunt got here. It is now 3 days later, and I have a couple of things. Oh gosh, what is this? I forgot to understitch the waistband after I attached the interior and the exterior together. It's probably going to be okay. If I feel like it's kind of pulling weird, I may go back in and do a little edge stitch around the top here. I'm just going to leave it for now and see how it goes. A couple of things. So it's a little loose in the waist still. It's just really hard to get that fit just right when you're working with a pant with a zipper. It's hard to really know for sure if you're getting the waist just right. So anyway, I probably need to tighten this a little bit. There's a couple of things that I could do to make this work. And actually, I need to flip this around. Okay, that's a little bit better probably. So there's a couple of things I could do to make this work a little bit better. One option is to release the waistband from the side seam here and then just sew, you know, take up the difference that I need out of the waistband and out of the side seam, and then flip the waistband back over and resew it. That's one thing. I have done it that way before. I actually don't want to do that this time. So what I think I might do is just add some elastic in the back on both sides of the zipper. That way, you know, if I ever am wearing these pants and I feel like I need a little extra room, that elastic will kind of give me a little bit of wiggle room. Will make them a little bit more comfortable. Because if I get them too tight and then they're just always that tight, I don't know. Anyway, and also maybe I'm just being kind of lazy and I just don't want to undo the waistband. Also, I think the length is pretty close. I ended up doing a 27-inch inseam unhemmed. So right now, and you can see the hem is actually a little bit uneven on the back here. So I need to true that up. But I do want to go in and add a little bit of length. So I'm just going to create a cuff with some extra fabric to add about 2 inches to the length, because I would like these to be full length wide leg pants. I just think they'll look a little bit more, I don't know, sophisticated, and they'll be a little bit different than the cropped version that I have in my elastic waist pants. So kind of trying to switch it up a little bit. But overall, pretty happy with these. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a little bit of elastic to the back waist. I'm going to pin baste this first. I'll just safety pin it to the back waist, try on the pants, make sure I get the waist elastic the right length. Then I'll just go in and top stitch that to the waist. Then I'll go in and add a cuff to the bottom of the pants to make them full length with the leftover fabric. And one nice thing about this pattern is I had probably about exactly 2 yards of fabric to work with. I probably really needed like 2 and not even a quarter yards to make these the length that I really wanted them to be. So I'll just be using some of that leftover fabric to create the cuffs. I'm having to kind of take it from different parts of the fabric, but the result is that I hardly have any waste from this fabric. So this ended up being a pretty low waste project, which is great. Anyway, just an option if you're looking for ways to kind of maximize your fabric use and be the most economical. You can kind of do little things, make them into design details, and try to really utilize that fabric so you're not throwing it away. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I created a cuff for the bottom of the pants, and to do that I just cut a strip that was about 5 inches wide, folded it in half and pressed it, and then made sure that it was the same, you know, circumference as the bottom of the leg. I've got it sewn on either side here and here. I also had to trim the bottom of the pants just to kind of true the bottom edge and make sure that it was all even, which cut off about, I don't know, anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 1 inch, depending on where it was on the pants leg. Now I'm just going to attach this to the bottom of the leg, right sides together. I've got the pants turned right side out. I'll pin it in place, and then I will sew all the way around the perimeter. Then I'm just going to press that cuff down with the seam allowance up, and I'll top stitch the seam allowance to the pants leg, just so that's all nice and neat. This is going to give me about almost 2.5 extra inches of length. It'll give a nice finished edge. It'll kind of have a cuffed look, and will hopefully give me just a little bit of extra length so that I can get a full length pant. I recently found 2 crocheted pillowcases at the thrift store, and I was really inspired by another YouTuber. It was the DIY designer who made a couple of garments, did like a thrift flip on some crocheted home decor textiles that she found at the thrift store. So when I came across these 2 pillowcases, I was pretty darn excited and snatched them up because I thought they would make a really cute top. And I've been pinning a lot of crocheted tank tops on Pinterest lately after I saw that DIY designer post several weeks back. So anyhow, I was very excited to find these. And I think I'm going to go with something that's kind of a triangle top style. So it's going to come up toward the straps at the shoulder and have a V-neck in the front. That way I can kind of utilize the existing shape of the pillowcase here without having to do too much cutting on this. So anyway, you can see here how pretty and delicate this is. This pillowcase is lined. It has a lining here on this side. We flip this over, and there's an additional layer of fabric here for the back of the pillowcase. So I'm gonna have to kind of think about how I detach this, because I definitely don't need 2 layers of this cotton fabric. I just kind of want the 1 layer on the back of this to make it not see-through. What I'm thinking I might do is just trim the back side of the pillowcase off and maybe leave about 1 inch, because I might eventually fold that under and kind of try to finish it like a bias binding. When I held this up to my body, I marked where I wanted the center front to be. There's a pin here. And then I also marked kind of where the bottom would be. And I might actually end up bringing it up a little bit more cropped up here, but I thought I at least want to start with the length being about right here. Since this is on the diagonal, I really wanted to see if I could get the entire front out of one piece. And I think I'm going to be able to, because my bottom here, where it meets up with the center front, is right at the center of the pillowcase. So I think what I'm going to do is actually cut the pillowcase in half, and then I will basically use this side as one of the triangle pieces that goes over the bust, and then this side for the other piece, and then basically these will be sewn together at the center front. Eventually I'll go through and trim this as the bottom. So before I actually put these together, I'm going to go ahead and finish the interior edge of this. I'm just going to fold this under all the way around, and I'm going to top stitch it down to create a finished edge on the interior, and that way that edge will already be finished so that I can move on to the next step. Once I had the 2 sides sewn together at the center front, I just kind of held it up to my body to make sure that I liked the placement of everything. And I decided to create another piece exactly the same way for the back bodice. So the front and the back bodice are basically going to be identical. This is going to be kind of a loose fit tank top, and I kind of played around with maybe adding darts if I was going to make it a little bit tighter, but I decided I think I wanted it to just be kind of a loose fit cropped tank top. And I think it'll just work a lot easier to keep the construction as simple as possible. So I'm going to create another piece just like this, the same way I did for the front bodice. I'll do the same thing for the back bodice, and then I'll work on connecting the 2 pieces at the side seams, and then I'll add straps. I'm going to go ahead and make the straps. I'm just going to take some of the leftover cotton from the back of the pillowcase and create some kind of thin straps by folding it basically like I would a bias binding, and then stitching up the side so it's nice and finished. So then I can just attach the straps at the top here on the inside and try it on and see kind of how I want that to hang. So pretty happy with the direction this is going. I did end up taking it in a little bit more at the armpit and kind of tapering it back out to where I had it originally. I like the position of the straps. I like the way the neckline looks and all of that. I'm nervous to cut it though, because I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just go ahead and I'm going to cut about right here and kind of follow the design a little bit, just so I can get these like long corners off of here and get a better idea of how it looks straight across. And then I might just sleep on it tonight and think about how I'm going to finish this. But yeah, overall, I think it's turned out pretty cute. I think it'll be a pretty cute little summer top. And anyway, so I'm gonna keep moving forward, but I am gonna trim it and just kind of see where that gets me. Okay, I'm getting excited. So I need a little cleanup. Like I need to clean up this little connection here and down here in the center front. but I really like what's happening over here. So I just kind of trimmed following the design. There's a few little cleanup areas I need to do there too, but basically it kind of gives it a little bit of a scalloped lace hem, and it doesn't fray, so that's good. And then what I did is I just, for the time being, just kind of folded the lining up. What I'm thinking I might do is just hem the lining straight across, so I'll have to kind of release the side seam and do a little finagling there to get it nice and straight across, and then just let this kind of hang down and be transparent. But got it on with some high-waisted jeans. I like where it falls on that. And I also tried it on with my wide leg pants that I just made, and it looked really cute. So I think I'm gonna move ahead with this. I kind of feel like the straps need to be just a hair longer. Like I kind of would like it to hang a little bit more like that. So I might fix that, but right now it is hot as hell in my studio. It gets so hot in here. So I think I'm gonna just sleep on it tonight, and I like the direction it's going. I've got a few ideas for things I wanna change, but I'm getting kind of tired and hot in here. So I'm gonna take a break and come back to it tomorrow when I have a little bit more energy and a little bit more, I'm not as hot. So anyway, that is the plan. I went through and released the lining at the side seams, you know, just enough so that I could turn a hem in that. And then I trimmed the lining, turned the hem to create, you know, about, I don't know, 3/8 inch hem, a 1/4 inch hem, and stitched that in place. Then I just went back through and cleaned up the side seams and stitched the lining back together at the side seams, so that now I have a finished bottom hem. And one thing I think I'm going to do is actually go through and press open all of these seams and then top stitch them down, just so that they're not kind of creating that extra bulk in the garment. And I think that might be it. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have to be honest, I love how these projects turned out. And the only thing that I might update is on the tank top. I might make it actually a little bit, like taking the side seams just a little bit more to make it fit a little bit more closely, because it does feel very loose, even though it's actually quite comfortable that way. I can't believe I made that out of pillowcases. Also, if you have ever wondered how people can wear tank top and not have a visible bra showing, I'm telling you guys, you need to check out some nippies. And this is not sponsored. I will put a link down in the description below this video to get the ones that I really like. These are just like little adhesive silicone covers that go over the nipples, and they have honestly changed my wardrobe. And now I wear those nippies all the time. I was kind of nervous that it would look a little bit, I don't know, too risque for me to not wear a bra, but these actually have allowed me to really expand the types of shirts that I can wear. Especially with a shirt like this, it's not super tight, so I feel a little bit less kind of scandalous not wearing a bra with it. But it just kind of helps keep things comfortable. They stay on really, really well. I have worn them a lot. I have worn them over and over again. You just rinse them off and go. Yeah, I really honestly, nippies, if you're watching, you're probably not, but if you ever are, you should sponsor me, because I love your product, even though I'm talking about it for free right now. But yeah, nippies, they're amazing. And if you did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more from me, please be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon. That way you'll be notified when I release new videos in the future. Okay, I think that's all I have for you today. I will see you in the next video. Bye.